Hi there, guys. So, welcome to JPWC 24's interview with Emma. So, as I say, we have Emma from Sixth House who has agreed to talk to us about her experiences and her story. Thank you for joining us, Emma.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So, you're a nurse, was full-time, now part-time, and you have your own business as a scar and chest tattoo artist. How did this happen? Can you tell us your story?
Okay, without making it too complex and long, by background, I am a respiratory specialist nurse. So, as you can imagine, through COVID, obviously with it being a respiratory illness, it was super, super busy and super, super tough. And again, without getting too complex and medical, throughout the pandemic, there was a lot of people that were coming in that thought they had COVID, and they did. And as a result, when we were checking the progress of like their treatment, we would do a CT scan and we were finding that they had breast cancer. So this is men and women, more predominantly women. And I remember a young lady at the time, I was 27. And at the time, this lady was the age that I am now, 31, 32. And she got diagnosed with breast cancer. And she was very much like me. And I say this in a modest way, like, really takes pride in her appearance, beautiful hair, always dolled up, makeup on. Obviously, this was like really devastating for her. And I sort of saw her from diagnosis throughout her journey of going through chemo and whatever. And I had because it is an honour of, unfortunately, when she passed away, I was the person that assisted her to the mortuary in preparing her body for the mortuary, again, without getting too medical and technical. And I just remember seeing her with no breath, no hair, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, and just being in absolute tears, thinking, this could have been me, this could have been my family member, this could have been somebody that I love. And I know, like, when my mum lost her hair when she started going through chemo, it bothered me probably more than it bothered her, because I take such pride in like my hair and everything, and I know that this young girl was exactly the same.
Mm.
And I just thought there must be something that like I could do, because I always wanted, when I was a little girl, I always wanted to do people's makeup. I wanted to be a hairdresser and do people's hair, but there must be something that like I could do. I'm quite a creative person. So I went down the routes of looking at like how to make wigs and whatever. And I ended up finding somewhere in America that did areola tattooing. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Maybe I could do that. And yeah, to put it blunt, that was where it came from.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing and being so honest.
Oh, it's okay.
Where did the name Sixth House come from?
So this, I'm a very, for anybody that doesn't know me, but you know me, I'm a very spiritual person. Like, I'm sat in my little room now. It's full of crystals. It's full of tarot cards. It's full of anything to do with astrology, the sun, stars, and moon. I am a Gemini. I've literally got it around my neck. And in astrology, there are 12 different houses. And again, I won't get too technical because I don't know what people know and don't know.
Mhm.
And the sixth house, when something is in the sixth house, it is, in astrology, it's to do with making you feel good, having, being cared for, looked after, well-being. So basically, it means looked after, feeling good, self-care, doing stuff for yourself. So that's what it means.
Well, that's really beautiful, actually. Yeah, I'm glad I asked that. That's really interesting as well. When you when you started Sixth House, how did you manage that alongside being a nurse?
Well, I'm obviously still in that state at the moment of being
Mm.
employed as a nurse and working night shifts. So just really, just to be honest with you, I'm allowed to swear. Can I swear?
Yeah.
It's just been really fucking hard. It has. So I predominantly work like night shifts, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. sometimes also a Wednesday, like 3, 4 nights a week. And it'd just be that on my break, I'd be doing things like writing my aftercare packs or getting back to people. Like, you know yourself, when me and you have been communicating, I could be sending you voice notes at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's just
Yeah.
sometimes how, that is just how I operate. So it's been really hard. And I would just say that writing everything down is key, and just doing everything tick box. So yeah, it's been really hard because I live half the week as a night owl, and then the other half of the week I try and be a business owner, and then trying to integrate them when you work different shift patterns, like it's hard. So yeah.
Yeah. Whereas has it become less stressful and less affecting your own mental health in terms of cutting down to part-time then?
It has to, yeah, I would say that it has to a degree, but I'm only on like week 3 of being part-time.
Okay.
And the second week that I went part-time, I actually ended up working more hours than what I was when I was full-time, just because there's such a strain and stuff on the service at the moment. So I would say for the 2 weeks that I have done part-time, yes, it definitely has made a difference, but I'm still like getting to grips with the flow of things at the minute, you know?
Yeah, I suppose it will take time to adjust your schedules as well as your sleeping schedule as well, because obviously
Oh, yeah.
tattoo stuff is going to be mostly during the day, and you're going to be working nights doing the nursing. So
Yeah.
you'll have to get used to that.
Juggling 100%.
Yeah. So what impacts has being a nurse, has juggling 2 companies, that sort of thing had on your mental health?
My brain doesn't shut off. I have ADHD. So my brain never shuts off anyway. And I've constantly got ideas for different things that I can do. I'm very impulsive. So it's like, if I don't do something now, I'm not going to do it at all. My mental health is definitely in a different place to what it was 12 months ago, 100% for sure. But as I say, and you know, I'm a very spiritual person. I do a lot of meditation, I do a lot of journaling, I go to a lot of women's circles and sound baths. So I definitely utilize all those different things that I do in order to sort of keep my mental health stable. But it can be, there's always, because I am now so busy in everything that I'm doing, there's always that guilt of, oh, I've not got back to this person, or I need to message this person, or I need to go back and see family, or I need to see this friend. That definitely weighs like really heavy on me. But I just keep telling myself, like, I'm part-time now, so I am going to have more time. And I need to remember that I shouldn't be filling the new time that I have with like a new schedule, i.e., I'm not like, all right, on this day, I'm going to start doing this. No, it needs to be, I'm taking some Emma time, or I'm going to catch up with this friend, etc.
Yeah. And in terms of the ADHD and obviously your mental health during COVID and stuff when you were dealing with the pandemic, have you sought any help in terms of ever taken therapy, or do you take Adderall for your ADHD, anything like that, or is it mainly spiritual?
No, so a mix of both there. So I don't take any ADHD medication. I'm very much, even though I work like in an emergency medicine area as a nurse, I am not, when it comes to medicine, I would much rather, like, even when I have a headache, I'd rather, which I have at the moment, sip loads of water, maybe nap, chill out over pop a couple of paracetamol. So there are lots of different herbal things that I can do for the ADHD. And then your other question, have I ever sought out services? Oh yeah, more than you will ever believe. So I was really lucky from an NHS perspective that they did actually invite in a psychologist into the respiratory unit for people to sort out some, and which is actually frightening that there was probably collectively over 200 members of staff within the respiratory unit, and I was the only one person that actually took up the offer to go and speak to someone, which
Wow.
is scary, right? Because most people just weren't, and I get it, they weren't ready, because we were like between pandemic 1 and 2, weren't ready to talk about what they've been through. Whereas I just wanted to speak to somebody about coping strategies, about the stuff that I'd saw. And yeah, was there anything that I could do to help myself? But I'm very, I haven't been. This is a bit of an exclusive for you. I've not been very open, and I've only ever been really honest with close friends that I had a really bad problem with alcohol, and I mean bad problem with alcohol, where the only thing that would get me to even fall asleep on a night was drinking. And it got to the point that I was drinking 2 bottles of red wine, and you then start to, without it barely taking effect, like I'm just a little bit tipsy, like, yeah. Um, so yeah, alcohol was sort of my vice that helped me go to sleep and helped me deal with things, but it got to the point I was just drinking more and more and more and more. And then I'm really, really fortunate that I've got private healthcare. I've had private healthcare for a couple of years, and when both of the waves of the pandemic was over, and I realised I've got a problem, I actually had counselling and did. I had EFT, which I don't know if you know what it is, like that with the EFT tapping.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had EFT and counselling once a week for probably 9 months. And that just helped me cope and deal with stuff. And then at the time, I had my spiritual awakening, we'll call it. And I used, like, I then obviously I can't even tell you the last time I had a drink. It just doesn't happen anymore. I don't want to drink. I'd much rather, God, you can see here, light candles and play with crystals and go traveling. The amount of money that's saved is unreal. But yeah, I'd much rather do
And
things
health.
like, yeah, meditation and journaling and stuff has now become, I write a lot of poetry, which I don't share, but I have started to share online. But some of my really dark stuff from throughout COVID, and that's like my new release, so to speak. So it's not that I'm totally for, if there's I think there is a lack of service, especially for people that can't afford private health, 100%. But and I recognize that I am very lucky for having that privilege. But if somebody's offering you a service for free, especially where it's a chance to open your mouth and talk and think about what's going on in your head, I would 100% advocate for that.
Yeah, definitely. I think therapy is definitely something. And as the same with you, I'm very fortunate that my work's got private healthcare, so I've been able to go down that route. What would you say that opened you to the spiritual side then? Because you said obviously when you came out of drinking that your spiritual awakening, but what was it that actually attracted you to that? How did you find it?
I think I would say when my grandma passed away, and it really bothers me that some people think that it's a bit cliche. Yes, grandparents are elderly, and at some point, we are all inevitably going to die. It's going to happen, it's
Yeah.
inevitable, right?
Yeah.
But I can't even tell you how close I was with my grandma. It was unreal, the bond that we had. And when I lost her, I remember being at work and I kind of shrugged it off. I was in a senior role at work, and and I shouldn't have done, but I did go home and obviously go spend a very small amount of time with my family. And I then felt obliged to go back to work very quickly. And I didn't grieve at all. And I think then when I started having the counselling and whatever, it was almost like word vomit. It came out. And then I just sat with this realization after having counselling of, shit, I haven't grieved. I haven't got over this. And I then started being, well, it's not stupid really, but I then started like almost trying to like connect with my grandma and stuff. Like I talk to her all the time. So she's there, like, I'm having a good day today, grandma. Hope you're all right. And I think that was kind of where it stemmed from. And I remember messaging my dad and saying like, don't laugh at me and I don't want you to say anything, but I think I'm having a spiritual awakening. Like, how on earth do you explain that to somebody that's not had that experience? Because they just think that you're off your nut. But now I've found my tribe, it's okay. But yeah, I'd say that was probably, to cut it short, that was like my awakening, was after having therapy, just being like, oh, like I've let everything out of my brain now. Shit, I've not grieved. So yeah, that's where I'd say it came from.
It's interesting that you went from therapy to spiritual stuff though, because obviously like that's one extreme to the other. That's like science, and then you're going more down the spiritual side. So it's quite interesting that one led you to the other. Um, so your mental health is obviously better now.
Oh,
What sort of mechanisms do you use to cope?
so, but I did start the first initial thing that I did start doing was when I used to walk to and from work. It's about 25-minute walk. So I'd always play upbeat music on the way to work to like get me pumped for that shift.
Mhm.
And then on the way home, because of everything that I'd been through with work and the shit stuff that I would see every single day, I would think about it on the way home. I'd sort of reflect on my day. Right, is there something that I could have done better? What could I have done there that would make this a little bit better? Could I like almost like congratulate myself if something went wrong, and really reflect on it? And then as soon as I put my key in that door and was in, that was it. Don't think, I know obviously sometimes you can't just completely shut off, but that was like my way of saying to my brain, right, you've got it all out now. You've had 25 minutes. Now let's stop. If something bothered me that much, I would sit and write it down. And then poetry, really, meditation, journaling. And then I go to a lot of like women's sound baths. I don't know if you know what they are. And to be fair, before I ever
No.
went to one, I thought it was that I was going to get my feet wet. It's nothing to do with water, but it's like meditate. You lay down, you're covered in blankets and whatever, and it's all nice and cozy, and there's lights on, and just play really beautiful music. And I just let my
Oh,
thoughts just go where they want to, and it's lovely.
yeah, sounds it. I've never actually heard of that before, so it'd be interesting for people to hear about that a bit more. How did you find that?
How did I, as in, how did I get to finding to go to a sound bath? So I
Hmm.
actually started seeing, when I realised that I wanted my own business and I was like, right, I'm going to do something about this, I thought, I want to see a life coach. So I started seeing a life coach who is now like one of my best friends. And it was, she realised that like I was spiritual too. And she was like, oh, I'm going to try this new thing on Monday or whenever it was. Do you want to come along? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And now I've gone down the rabbit hole. I don't go to sound baths, I go to the sound ocean. Jesus Christ. Like, I'm not deep in. But yeah,
Yeah.
through being a life coach, yeah.
Okay. How did you find having a life coach? Because obviously a lot. Well, there's a difference of opinion on life coaches. Some people say they're useless jobs or they're useless for whatever, and some people find them really useful. How did you find it?
I think it's finding the right person. So the first thing that I did was just Google Derby Life Coach. And as in like life coaches in Derby, as you would on Google. And she came up because her name is the Derby Life Coach. So she was like top hit. And I
Good
went on
name.
her page and I was like, oh, she looks really friendly. And there was, I think she offered like a complimentary 20-minute discovery call, which was like where you'd see basically if you liked one another, if you thought you were going to get on, that kind of thing. And we did in 20 minutes. We did. There was no like obligation, and I can honestly say because that was like the darkest patch of my life was when I was going through this PTSD time, and I wasn't leaving for about 2 months. I just didn't leave the house, and then the only time I would leave the house was a Friday at 5 o'clock when I'd see Laura, my life coach, and I just continually looked forward to Fridays. That was all that I would ever look forward to. So yeah, I was in a vulnerable state, but I picked the right person. So yeah, people might think that life coaches are, but she sorted my life out. Literally, she sorted my life out. I had full backing, and she's still my friend now. I think it's finding the right person because I've had
Mm.
counselling before, like private counselling that I've paid for, not Bupa, and I've been and seen people, and they don't like align with me. Like I had this one guy that could eat, like he was the one that like I was paying him and I was listening to him. Like he was talking to me about his experience in the NHS, and I was like, I'm paying you £90 an hour, and like I'm listening to, oh yeah, I understand what you're saying because I've done this and da, 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 da. And I'm like, huh? And that doesn't. So that one bad experience could then put me off counselling. Do you know what I mean? But it didn't. I think it's just finding the right person that's for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And if it helps, I think she seems like she was a bit of a lifeline for you at that time as well. So
100%.
no, that's great to hear. So if anybody needs a life coach in Derby, the Derby life coach, there you go. You promoted your friend by you. Yeah. So someone who is wants to start a new business or is starting a new business in a different industry, like yourself, from nursing to the tattooing, what would your advice to them be?
Have money.
Yeah.
Have passion. I honestly think, and I said this in a podcast last week, if you have passion, if you've got passion, it's enough to drive you through anything. You will always get the result if you are passionate about something. I say the result, you will always get somewhere if you've got passion because you'll open your own doors for yourself. You might not get there as quick as you want to, but you will get there. So if you are starting a business, be passionate about it because it does make a difference. Don't be stupid financially, know your backing, know your demographic, and just be authentically yourself. That's
Awesome
my
advice. Yeah. Would you have you had many speed bumps in your starting out with this?
Yeah. Oh my God, more speed bumps than probably most. My problem was when I post anything about what I do with the areola tattooing, as soon as I put a picture on of a boob, that's it. Meta, as in Facebook, Instagram, oh my Lord, block your page, everything. Oh. So I think I ended up starting like 4 different Instagram, which is really annoying because for 3 months when I'm paying a decent whack for a day, and you still pay regardless of whether you've got somebody in the room. And for 3 months, when I can't even get somebody through the door, and my only means of advertising at the time were social media, it was crippling. It was heart wrenching that I had invested so much of my time and I was so passionate about something and I just wanted to help people and I couldn't because I just couldn't get the word out. So yeah, social media was like my biggest speed bump.
Okay. And you obviously say like you've got to pay for the room and stuff. Did you ever get to a point where you would think, I'm not even sure I can do this anymore, or were you
Yes,
just
I
keeping on
actually
that?
said to myself, I gave it until Christmas. I said to myself in my mind in like September, if this carries on after Christmas, I'm done.
Mm.
That was what I said. And it's got to the point that I can't even fit people in because I'm that busy.
Wow. That's really
Which,
amazing.
how
I'm
can
glad you
I
didn't say
be?
that.
I can't moan at that. Like, yeah, I can't moan at that. So, yeah, and that's just from being authentically myself online and being passionate. That's what my advice is to people. So I can't complain.
No, definitely. And obviously, with your posts, they serve a bigger purpose than just nudity. And they are to promote your awe-inspiring business, the Sixth House. But what would you say that Instagram need to do, Meta, and how can they help support a business like you who needs to put these images out there, but it will be against their guidelines?
I'm really sorry you cut off there. So I didn't actually hear the whole question. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no problem. So I said, obviously, your posts are bigger than serve a bigger purpose than just nudity, and to
Yes.
promote your awe-inspiring business. So, what would you say to Instagram that they need to do to their guidelines that would help you, person that's got a business like you, who needs to post nudity, but not in the way that they're trying to stop it?
The thing is, there was actually a big thing with Meta in February of 2023. They agreed that if as areola artists or paramedical tattoo artists, if we posted and used the words areola, mastectomy, and post-surgical, that the post wouldn't get blocked because it would realize, it's paramedical tattooing and like it's not nudity, and it still happens. Clearly, it still happens. So I don't know. Is there, like my thing would be where there's now Instagram verified, right? Where you pay your £12 a month or whatever, so you've got direct access, kind of, to message them. Could
Mm.
there be a tick box to say I'm a paramedical tattoo artist, so what I post, don't let AI block it?
Yeah. Yeah, because I suppose that is the
And you've
main
got
thing,
the
isn't it?
money and resources to do it, so it just annoys me when you're trying to raise awareness and do something good. It really just pees me off.
Yeah, I suppose they've got to be careful still as well because of the fact that someone that's saying they're doing your business could end up posting God knows what on the internet. But at the same time, they've still got to find a way to help you guys because what you're doing is so incredible, and it needs to be shouted about and it needs to be seen.
Yes, but what really annoys me is that Kim Kardashian and all these other Instagram people online can have pictures like with see-through tops on and their boobs out and pose half nude, no issue for them. Do you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, it really just annoys me that there's no that's fine.
yeah. I don't know why Instagram doesn't have the option like YouTube, where if you're posting something that's aimed at over 18s, that you can
Like you can just
tick a
blur
box.
it, yeah, or yeah, so that you can then like click on it to say, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, if you're not over 18 and you don't sign in an over 18 account, you can't see it. If you sign up with an 8 over 18 account and you're 14 years old, that's not really their problem.
No.
So it's the same with porn sites as well, but obviously that's a completely different ball
Yeah,
game. But
no, but you're right. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, they just need to have a verified adult section, if that. I mean, to be fair, social media shouldn't be really used by kids anyway, but we know that that happens.
Of course it does. Yeah.
I mean, I was signing up to Facebook when I think I was about 15, 14, something like that. So, and you weren't supposed to have
Yeah.
it till you were 16. So you just lied about your age. But then
Yeah.
at least they're putting something in place that would allow someone like you with your business to actually post what they need to post.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but hey ho, hopefully they will change that. But what advice would you give to someone that's going through the current situation that you've got with the pictures getting taken down?
Get a website
Hmm.
and then start an Instagram page that is authentically you so that you attract your own tribe and then direct people to your website. Talk about the areola tattooing and talk about mastectomies and breast cancer and whatever, whether it be on an Instagram live or a video or a post, and redirect them to your website to look at your work.
Okay. So yeah,
That's
then you
why you
then you
won't
don't have
see
to post the
me. It's
pictures.
not that I don't do any. It's not that I don't do, like I've done boobs this morning, and it's not that I don't do many boobs. It's more I'm not posting them because I don't want a thingy getting blocked. I will post them on my website because my website won't get blocked. So it'd be if somebody inquires, it's like, oh, if you want to look at my work, hop on my website. There's more on there.
Were they blocking your Instagram or the posts? Like, so was it your
So
whole Instagram was getting taken down, or your just the posts?
over the course of like 5 Instagrams, both post,
Jeez.
sometimes the post, depending on what it was, sometimes the post, sometimes the Instagram. So a mix of both, really.
All right. So it wasn't like you got a certain amount of warnings and then it got taken away. It
Oh no,
was
it's just like, bye. You have what do they call it? I've not complied with something rules and yeah,
community guidelines, probably.
that's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times. Even when it's no nudity on it. So hey ho, I don't know how you cope with it.
Mm.
And so going back to the mental health, obviously you've told us about what you had to deal with as a nurse and now striving as a business owner with an incredible heart, I have to say. So how do you cope differently to now than when you were going through the dark times? So we've spoken a little bit about what you started to do, the spiritual stuff, but what would you say your key takeaways that helped you get your mental health in the right place?
Probably,
And
I
better?
would say seeing my life coach. So I don't know if you've ever done the Wheel of Life before. So you literally have a circle that's spread into like a pie shape, and split into 8 and put your values on there. So like my core values to me were family, partner, hobbies such as my spiritual stuff, holidays, self-care, being kind, and you would score yourself between sort of 1 and 10. So if ever I feel like I'm out alignment with any of those things or with anything in life, I'll redo my circle and look where it is that I'm not quite right, and then make an action plan of how I can make it better. So that was like my main, and still has been like my main strategy if something doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah. Okay. And you mentioned your partner. Were you with your partner when you were doing the drinking and everything, or is that after?
Living apart though, because I was
Okay.
working in a space that was smothered in COVID, and he was also classed as a key worker in the job that he did. The last thing I wanted to do was come home riddled in COVID every night and then him potentially take it to work. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
no, I lived by myself. So that was why I went down a rabbit hole.
Okay. So he didn't know what was going on, sort of thing. You were able to hide
Nobody
it,
did. I
basically.
functioned completely normally. And I hid it very well. So if anybody hears this, like my old staff or anything, I think they'd be like, what? Because it was bad.
Yeah. I think that's the most scary thing about with the drink, which was the same with me, is that you can function so well. You
Yeah.
almost get into pilot mode. Even when you're hungover off your and after you've been pissed at your tits the night before, you kind of go into pilot mode the next day, and it becomes normal.
Yeah. Functioning alcoholic, basically. That's what I was.
Yeah, and then I'd write it off if someone smelled alcohol on you. I don't know about you, but if anyone smelled alcohol on me, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I was out on that before," and it will sort of brush it off.
Unfortunately, I've never had that. I've never had that. But to be honest with you, I think, and openly, quite a lot of people, quite a lot of my staff had openly said like that they were drinking
Mm.
to
Well, I
try and
think
help
given
them
everything
sleep
you
as
guys were
well.
going through,
Yeah, but just remember, we were wearing full visors and masks and everything. There was no way you were smelling alcohol in anyone's breath.
that's true. Yeah, yours was during the pandemic. You were quite lucky in
Yeah.
that sense. So the pandemic was obviously a horrible time for everyone. I can't even begin to fathom what you guys had to go through, medical professionals, private and NHS. And of course, what you did to keep going and to look after us was incredible. I have to say that I feel honored to speak to you today, given that you were one of those.
I wouldn't go that far, but thank you. Don't go that far.
And I am thankful for all NHS staff, private and the NHS even. And I just think you guys did such an amazing job doing that.
Aw.
For you to go through that though, and then come out and want to do this sixth house thing is incredible. There's a lot of people out there probably would their caring side might turn off after going through something like that, but yours just seemed to shine through, and you seem to have gone on to do even more amazing work.
Oh, thank you. I feel like you've got to see the glimmers though, because I did go through that stage of being like, there's got to be, that's what I kept saying, there's got to be more to life than this. There's got to be more to life than 12.5 hour shifts. There's got to be more to life than night shifts. There's got to be more to life. And yeah, I'm really happy. So I can't,
I'm
yeah,
glad.
I'm really happy.
Do you have anything else you would like to say to the viewers?
No, I think I've overshared. That's fine. I don't think so. But if you made it through listening, then thank you very much for listening, really. And thank you for having me.
No, thank you for joining us, and thank you for telling your story and being so honest as well. Because that's one thing that this channel is supposed to do, is to try and get people to open up and speak out with mental health, especially.
No, I really
Perfect.
appreciate it. It's this like therapy almost, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm an
kind of. Yeah.
alcoholic. I'm not anymore. But no, thank
Well,
you so much.
no problem. So we'll end the video there. If you saw this, please like, share, donate. Please check out my channel, and also please check out Emma's. It will be tagged in the description, and check out her amazing work and recommend anyone that needs doing it. So have a great day and have a great mental health day, and I'll speak to you soon.
Hi there, guys. So a big thank you to Emma for doing the interview today. It really was an amazing interview. It was really inspiring to hear her story of how she came through her troubles working through the pandemic. It couldn't have been easy. We are blessed to have the NHS as well as private options. All those medical professionals that had to go through such a tough time. Yeah, it really was an honour to actually speak to one of them. And Emma is such a lovely girl, as you can see by the video. So, yeah, thank you so much, Emma. We will catch up soon and we'll do some more collaborating in the future. Please check out her page. It's the Sixth House X, if I remember rightly. It will be tagged alongside this video, so please go and check it out. She also does have a website. If you search the Sixth House Derby, I found that it comes up straight away. But yeah, check her out. Check out her work. If you got anyone that needs help from her, reach out. She's so lovely. Anyways, I hope you're having a great day and a great mental health day, and I'll speak to you guys soon.